Hi everyone, welcome to the Faith Perspective. So today we are diving into the heart of Africa's biggest street party, and joining us today is a field man driving the vision, operations, and cultural renaissance of this world-class event, a leading voice in the evolution of the African creative economy, a seasoned public administrator, a creative strategist, and a cultural development advocate with vast experience spanning governance, security, and large-scale event logistics. He plays a pivotal role in shaping the vision, structure, and execution of West Africa's most significant cultural showcases and the Africa's biggest street party. I'm talking about Mr. Austin Cobham, the Executive Secretary of the Cross River State's Carnival Commission. So you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So let's just cut straight to the chase. So what was Mr. Austin like in the creative society? That's before you assumed this role. What was young Mr. Austin like? What did it look like?
Had this, it's a natural thing. God is a gift of God. It's not today. When I was actually a member of the Junior Dramatic and Debating Society clubs in St. Patrick's College, where I was a good student. Beginning. And then by the time I got to my senior secondary school, I became the social prefect of the school. So, and I led my school to quite a lot of victories in debating and dramatic experiences and competitions. And when I moved further, I delved into writing books on dramas, short stories, and all, though unpublished. But I know we acted a couple of them on, on different events. So it's a flay. It's a passion. And then when I became, by the grace of God, a counselor of Ward 12, even before we had our first carnival outing, I was able to gather, stage performances in my community, and then we had a local carnival, which of course the then wife of the governor of Cross River State, Mrs. Sonari Duke, head of, and sent my chairman now, who was then MD of Cross River State Tourism Bureau, to come and look at it. In fact, that's actually the beginning of my journey into the mainstream tourism development process.
Wow. So you had quite a fantastic foundation.
Thank you.
So managing an event of this magnitude involves an immense logistical and creative effort. So in your quietest moments during the carnival season, when you look at the crowd, when you look at the parade, what is that single memory, that makes the whole effort worth it to you?
The most important thing is a mindset. The mindset that you're going to deal with a collection of people with different understanding, different character. You find very calm, calculated, articulated people. You find wild, crazy, and uncalculated people. You find people who feels they can always do better than you. And you find people who will tell you, you're doing well, I wish I could learn this thing and all that. So when you have that mindset, you poise yourself towards succeeding, not minding, distractions. So the first thing I did was to understand that I am persistently going to be dealing with a crowd. So crowd management is one part of human psychology that starts with the mindset. I am claustrophobic, but when it has to do with people management, it's a mindset. So I will not bring my
fears
deficiency into management of people. So it's one thing that I know God has been able to give. And then also, before I became counselor, I was a local government security advisor in Calabar South. So I did 1 or 2 security, trainings with the then Commissioner of Police, Thomas Chodimo. And so I had a security perspective. So when I mixed them together, it gave me that primary elementary background of crowd management, organization, and route control that would not, give you casualties or emergencies at the close of work.
Okay, so is there a memory like you remember that gives you this kind of should I say peace, or like this, yes, I did it, or like, yeah, the whole effort I've put is worth it?
I have never actually been fulfilled in my delivery like 2025, the 20th
Okay, yeah,
anniversary
the 20th
carnival,
anniversary.
because we initially planned the city based on our last year, the previous year's data and what we saw. We saw the crowd, we could estimate the crowd, we could now plan the crowd control. But when, to the glory of God, the crowd became almost times two,
Wow.
100% increase of what we had the previous year. And even the city, was overwhelmed. So having to manage, but if you're in stadium, okay, you were in stadium last, you would have
Yeah,
seen
yeah, it
that
was.
at a point we stopped Carnival, and then we pleaded with His Excellency the Governor to give us the permission to stop Carnival, because he's the chief host of the
Yeah, yeah.
Carnival, to stop Carnival halfway and allow Tiwa Savage to perform, and then hoping that when she leaves, her crowd will follow her. He did a little magic. A little crowd followed her out, and they were able to. But first time in the world, the carnival bands could not pass through the stadium. So, and my heart was in my hands, and I was all permanent. I could not even watch the carnival or monitor carnival again. All I did was I went into quiet supplication. Father Lord, just give us today alone. I will not ask for another day. And so it's one day I wake up and
That's
I
a
say,
success story.
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue telling this story. When you look at Carnival Calabar today, what does it represent to you beyond the costume, beyond the music and the dancing?
If you take me out of Carnival, not the office, not executive secretary.
Okay.
If you take me out of Carnival, I'll feel empty, because I have done Carnival even before Carnival Calabar started. So I embedded my life, everything inside it, everything one could think of. And so for me, Carnival is the people, and Carnival is the future. So, a people without a future is nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see Carnival as is beyond our culture. I see Carnival as life itself after the retro life, because it's one of the fastest money spinning investment,
Missionary.
the biggest investment Cross River State government has ever done. If you look at, you don't look at how much comes into the purse of government directly. If you look at it that way, then even Brazil will not host Carnival.
Yeah, of course.
But you look at the GDP, total money that came into the
The
city
States.
to kickstart, to push the economy. Because by the time you're holding a carnival, you would see sachet water sellers make money. You see Mama Put, Rosa Mama Put make money. You would see fabric sellers make money. Even gum, the least thing you can think, even granddaughter sellers make money. So it's a spinner.
So personally now, what do you say? What have you learned about leadership? Having walked behind one of Africa's biggest cultural festival, what have you learned about leadership?
The greatest thing Carnival sitting in this office for this number of years have taught me is high elastic patience. No matter how you drag me, I keep my peace. This is what it has taught me. No matter what, even if you wake up tomorrow and tell the world I killed Delegiwa, I will not respond to you. Once I have a clean conscience, I have a clear heart. So I'll just say, if your accusations are factual, take me to court, arrest me. So as
Okay.
long as you've not taken me to court, you've not arrested me, you're telling lies. So I won't burn the time I would use in thinking of the next creative moves
Yeah,
in answering
ideas.
or responding to your shenanigans.
So was there a moment, or what was that moment in your career when you realized that this creative cultural industry can actually become a serious economic force? What was that moment when it hits dawn on you?
Okay, when I did our first street carnival in 2024, in my ward, we found out that all the shops around Atamono by Enebong, they outsold. So we found, as I now saw 2, 3 shop owners, brought gift, brought drinks. Say, Papa, thank you. We really sold. We made a lot of money. Please, next year, do it again. And I told them next year I'll do it bigger, and I did it bigger. So that was what gave me that satisfaction. I said, wow. So me, I spend money, my other person can't make money. But I mean, it's fine. It is better. It is the easiest way of reaching out, because you may not be able to identify a man who needs money to dash your money.
Yeah,
You may
yeah.
even dash the wrong people. You may even dash to an addict.
Of course.
Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
But when you create an economy where everybody has equal opportunities to come and make
Opportunities.
money, I think it's a better empowerment.
Oh, great. I get it. So if you had to explain to a young Cross Riverian why Carnival Calabar matters to their future, what would you say?
It is looking beyond today. I always say so. When Her Excellency Mrs. Sonari Duke, I always pay her glowing tributes. And I always say to anybody that cares to hear that she built the brand Austin Cobham, the tourism brand called Austin Cobham. And so when she picked us, were many she picked. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to undermine anybody. A lot of people just felt that governor's wife called us. They should be able to have carrying monies in Ghana must goes, and they start going home. So, but I saw the future because I had a little, in-depth knowledge of the Brazil Caribbeans and the Brazilian carnival. I am, when you love a thing, you follow it.
Yeah.
I read about it, I watch videos, and all. That's why I could even do some little costumes for my people when we did our carnival, even without government's carnival starting. So you see beyond today, you see the future. When you look at the future, you look at what it portends, you now build the patience to build it up. The
Okay.
problem basically is impatience. Everybody just wakes up because, just like you sit now, you become a millionaire. Then the next person in your family just will say, because he has known you, he should also become a millionaire. Doesn't know that it has a process.
Okay. So let's I'm kind of interested in the future of what we are building. So I'd want to ask, are young persons, are they being trained to become owners of intellectual properties and owners of opportunities created by the Carnival Calabar, or are they only trained to just perform?
I had the privilege of presenting a paper at the NIPS, National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, course 46 or so 48. Study in Calabar. I had a privilege to present a paper when they had their study, last week, and I said to them, there are 3 parts of carnival. That's what people see are in 3 parts. It's a triangle. The most seen part is the part that everybody sees: the colors, the spectacles, the costumes, the reveling, the dances, the glamour.
Yeah.
You understand? The second part is what the assessors look for. the intellectual presentation, the creative presentation. You understand? That is what brings about who wins Carnival.
Yeah,
And then the other part that we now see, is what economy is it going to drive for us this year. So, but the first part is what the whole world comes to see. They're overwhelmed. But you that have come to the Carnival, you will not even understand that you are activating the third part for us. So the third part is silence. It's only the first and second part that are known. Known because the judges are there looking out for the intellectual contents to judge, while the crowd is there watching and applauding the Carnival. But nobody remembers that there's a third part, which is the base of the triangle, which is the economic part. You're watching, you remove money, buy pure water broom, you're investing money. You're watching hunger catch you, turn, chop suya, you're investing money. Are you understanding me? You get tired, you go back to the hotel and sleep, you're investing money. So that's the third part, that's the base of the triangle we're looking at.
Okay. So if what skills should our young persons begin developing today? Like, if they want to become major players in the carnival industry, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, are there skills they can develop?
Yes, and yes. Even without being a young person, it is not always too late to learn a new thing. That is even the bane of life. Always try to learn a new thing. Even when you have known the skills in carnival presentation, you still need to upgrade in learning the new advancements in what you do. Because, it's just like phone. You do Max today, tomorrow they say there's Pro Max, they say there's Ultimate Max. You understand what I'm saying? So it is opening your heart to knowledge. Opening yourself to knowledge. That's the only way you can learn. Because, see, there has never been a product that has been produced just for production's sake. Every product is produced to solve a problem. So if you open yourself to intellectual reasoning, you can look at the carnival and look at a problem in the carnival and bring a product
solution
that solves it. You make your money. So the person who created biscuit looked at people that likes nibbling between meals. Look at that short snacks who can snack on and produce biscuit. So there's a solution to a problem, but the person is making money.
Get it.
Are you understanding me? So even the food cassava we plant is because it's going to solve a problem of hunger. So there's no product you would produce without solution without a problem in mind. So when you go producing something without a problem in mind, you're going to waste that product because nobody's going to get it from you.
I understand. Really understand. So this, the Carnival Calabar, I think focuses mostly on the later months of the year, talking about October, November, December. Now, can we develop a system where young people are trained or engaged throughout the year for the carnival, not just recruited during the December period? Can there be a system that puts how do I put it? That sets the ball rolling, so that these youths who are engaged in December, because I think majority of that revelers and the populace are mostly youths. So is there a system that can engage them throughout or that, I'm not saying it's existing, can be created to engage them throughout the other month of the years, the earlier month of the years before?
Akwanika, you've seen Carnival. Calabar prepares for about 1 million entry in a day or two. And for you, it's just like let me give you an example. You want to host a big wedding or burial in your family. You know the energy it takes to plan for just that one day event. Everything around your family shuts down. Your father does not give money for anything. He say, well, we have burial, we're putting money in burial, putting money in wedding. You understand? The adrenaline in the family is all pumped
For that particular event.
towards that event. So now that is the same thing that happens to Carnival, because we expect like 1 million entry in 2-3 days. The entire energy starts pumping towards December, even from January. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
So it is not very possible to break up other events and span them. Otherwise, you will totally kill the adrenaline by December.
Okay.
There's going to be exhaustion and weariness. Rather, what we try to do is to do pitches and patches of micro events that will not drain the entire system.
Okay.
You understand? Don't forget that the industry workers are also human beings with blood. By the time you overwork them, they get weary. Some of us almost faint on Carnival days. You know, I have passed out before. You know, and it was managed. By 1 hour, I came back and I was back on the road. I said, no, we would finish this job. So we allow people to order things, but we try to ensure that we create sub events. Now the industry is a permanent industry. As I speak to you now, the core workers of bands are at work. People are beginning to do costume designs, sketches, marry them to interpretation, to scripts. Sometimes you build your script to a point. I've been in the bands before.
Yeah.
You build your scripts to a point that you've built because you scatter it. When it doesn't give you that satisfaction that this theme can win you the carnival, scatter it again. So there's so much work already behind the scenes. The work behind the scenes is more than the ones we see. Just like a movie production, a good movie production, behind the scenes.
Yeah, it takes a long time. I understand. All right. So what would you change about Carnival Calabar if you knew you wouldn't fail? Like if you knew you had everything it takes, what would you love to change? Yeah.
What I would change about Carnival Calabar? You know, there's nothing you change that does not have that disadvantage. You know, that does not make you lose another thing. My major area of change I would have loved would have been to rearrange our carnival route. Okay. Though we pride ourselves as the longest, carnival route in the world, 12.5 kilometers.
Yeah.
The nearest is 7 Point, which is Trinidad and Tobago. You know, Notting Hill is not our kind. Notting Hill is like a street party. They just lock streets, everybody gathers, and so in most times I hate to compare our carnival with Notting Hill. Our Notting Hill carnival is just like our street party we do on the 30th, but in the afternoon costume. So if we costume and dance on the streets and shut down the long stretches, that's Notting Hill carnival for us. So the carnivals of the route are Trinidad and Tobago Carnival, Toronto Carnival, and to a point Brazilian Carnival. You understand? Those are route carnivals I have. So I would have shortened the route. If you ask me, I'll take you through Ateko. But there are other, schools of thought that say no, let's keep it this way. But me as a person, I don't have the power. I don't have the. I'm a loyal servant. So yes. So, but if the arguments get high, and the other supports, I think government would consider it. But because if we shorten the route, it will allow the carnival to start and end early, because the carnival is getting very big.
Yeah, and the bands have increased.
So by the time this party takes that pace, sometimes people need to move faster. But it's supposed to be a street party. So it's supposed to dance it through.
I get it.
You understand? So it gives us time to actually rock the carnival, and in some parts it will allow revelers also to have a picture ops with
Yeah, with the revelers.
yes, to allow that, so that it can also help transmit our pictures,
The images.
our images fast.
Right. So from your mind, what do you think Carnival should look like? What's that picture? It's an expectation in 10 years' time, like in 10 years' time.
See,
Yes.
the major area I also want Carnival to grow is that spectatorship. Because if you have content, so
Yeah.
I give it to the bands. Truly, we have contents. We have capacity. The bands may be hindered by, like human, even in your houses, will get hindered by economic constraints, financial constraints. So the bands may have constraints of not having enough money to blow their minds. But I tell you the truth, from what they do on the streets, you'll see that they have deep contents. So our bands have capacity that can match any capacity in the world. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
So at this level, the next thing we should now be looking for at is to domesticate it properly. And that is where we should have enough bleachers on the road. By the time you line bleachers left, right of both sides of the road on Marian, stand in the shoot it from with a drone.
Yeah, John.
You will
Gives
see
a
the
nice
beauty.
picture, yeah.
You will see crazy pictures, breathtaking pictures. These kind of pictures only come out from Brazil, and we'll make a lot of money from it.
Wow. So, finally, on a final note, it's been a nice experience talking with you and getting from your fountain of wisdom. So, what if you could spare some minutes to speak directly to the young people of Cross River State, what would you say to them?
Patience. Our young people are on the speed lane. They want to make money in one day. Rome was not built in a day. I came to hear this. There's a gestation period. If you make fast money, you do not have the capacity to sustain it in your hands. Just like someone is given an appointment, he rushes in, build house, build this, building. You do not have capacity to sustain it. So they should learn patience, and they should also learn from other people's experiences. So I live on one saying. They said, experience is the best teacher. No, I corrected it. Other people's experience is my best teacher. So someone started investment, failed. He learned a lesson. And then me too, I wait to start that first so that I'll learn. No, I don't learn from the other person's experience. I've not learned from experience. So are you understanding me? So I have to go and ask him, how did you fail? Why did you fail? What was the next step? The young men are not willing to ask us, humble enough to go and ask those questions. You understand? So before I go, I would want to say that our young men, our young women should learn patience, should be humble, should be prepared for mentorship and tutoring. Are you understanding me? If you have been able to work closely with Mrs. Sonari Duke, you know that you must have humility, you must have patience, and you must have the tenacity. Because Her Excellency expects someone whose brain can spin around a solution. She believes that there is no problem that doesn't have a solution. I'll tell you something. There was a year we forgot a Bayside. I took responsibility. I did not remind her or put it up to her because then she was our costumer while I was doing scripting and all those things. So she was basically, we shared, you see, when it comes to Carnival, everybody drops their office. Her Excellency used to drop her office as wife of the governor, who come and do costumes. So she was our costumer. So in my mind, I was busy putting the band. I forgot to check if we have done Kings and Queen costumes for the junior. On the morning of the Kings and Queen costume, we did not have costume. Do you know what she did? That woman stood in the stadium in within 2 hours to build male and female costume, and we took second in that.
Wow.
Yes, that's how she is. So I always try to. I take something from her every time I'm with her. I take something from her, you know. So young people should just learn to subject themselves. They come around you, they spend 2, 3 days, 4 days, they expect you to upload all you have into them. Like you
Just at a
they
flash.
they see you make small money. They say you're supposed to share the money, give them because they don't work out with you. Are you understanding me? They wouldn't want to learn to make that money, you know. So it's okay.
So I think personally, I've learned a lot. I've benefited a lot from this particular conversation. It's been a great time on the FET perspective, and I believe that our young persons and everyone out there is going to learn or take 1 or 2 things from this conversation that we've had today, sir. So it's a privilege to have you on the show once again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Adam. I want to say a very big thank you to His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Basi Tutu, and his beautiful wife. My mother, if you look around, you always see that is one woman that I've also learned so much from. She comes with fire, she comes with strength, she comes with energy. She can push you to your maximum. You know, that one, she doesn't hear, I failed. She doesn't hear, I cannot. So I appreciate her for this. And then the governor, mostly, I couldn't say all these things sitting at back, you know, the success stories even of last year, if we didn't have a governor who listens, who is willing to give you everything you need to go and succeed. So for us, we always say to ourselves, the governor listens to us, the governor hears us, we have no reasons to fail. So I want to thank him so very much, and thank even the House of Assembly, you know, for the enabling environment they create by through legislations and appropriations. And I also want to thank my colleagues, the Carnival Commission, my chairman, who is my first-hand teacher and mentor, and my colleagues and staff, and my family who releases me, who's never had Christmas with me in all their lives. I have a child. My last child has never spent Christmas. I've never spent Christmas with my last child. For one day, she asked me, Daddy, when will we celebrate Christmas together? And I said, the day I'll stop being in Carnival. You know, so I thank my family, and I want to thank you also for this session. I appreciate this privilege and opportunity, and I hope that it translates into something very positive for Cross River
It's
State.
a pleasure, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.